going on, everybody? So today's practice is the first one that we've been able to be at since the Alabama game. We're going to be able to watch about 20 minutes of drills. I'm looking forward to seeing how the guys move around, how they participate, you know, the energy level, all the same things that we watch for during these drills. In particular, I'll be paying close attention to Mike Harley. As you know, he left in the third quarter of the last game. Coach expects him to be ready, so we will see how he does in drills today. So just getting to practice here. Get to watch sessions 4 through 7. I apologize with a little bit of the audio issues, having some microphone issues. So this might not sound great today. I might just let you guys watch this, but just want to apologize in advance. You know, Al Blades Jr., I was talking to somebody today about him. You know, Al only played about 15-20 snaps last game. Just someone to watch for. Feels like he does have ability. And I'll be curious to see how he does in this game if they give him more reps. Because I think Appalachian State, I'm expecting them to, you know, have a number of wide receivers out there. I think they got 4 guys that can play, so I think you're going to need to match up. Whether they go with all 4 at one time, they might not do that because they do like the backs they have. So if you can hear Coach T-Rob, he's talking a lot about pad level right here during this drill. He talked to reporters yesterday about his group, and you know, feels like some guys played well, some guys didn't. Feels confident that they'll bounce back and play better. Feels like his group definitely needs to play better, given up a number of passing yards. So we'll see. I think Appalachian State does have weapons. I know Miami's expecting them to run, but I do think they have some guys that can make some plays. So I'd be very curious to see how Miami's secondary does in this one. For those curious, Bubba Bolden, you know, with his ejection, he will be able to play in the first quarter of this one because he was ejected in the first half. He doesn't have to sit out the first half of the next game. Conversely, Appalachian State has a safety who was ejected for targeting in the fourth quarter of their game against ECU, and he won't be able to play the first half. DeAndre Johnson really talking about pad level on this drill. You can hear Coach T-Rob. Taking a look at John Ford. If you guys didn't see our article on the website, John actually graded out the highest according to Pro Football Focus of any player on the team, offense or defense. So maybe that's a positive step for him into his final year at Miami. Certainly needs solid play out of defensive tackles, so it'll be interesting to watch. I think a lot of guys it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. There's a number of guys that will be looking to improve their play from last week. So you're taking a look at the offense going against a scout team defense. You notice some of the numbers. They represent Appalachian State players on defense here. Coach Lashley working with the offense. Once again, just another position group, position unit that will be looking to bounce back. Very curious to see how Miami attacks on offense. I think there was a lot made of the Alabama game, just a lot of short passes, a lot of underneath stuff, a lot of runs up the middle. So we'll see if that continues, or if the plan changes against Appalachian State. Also, I'm curious to see how the running back rotation works. They went with Cam Harris, majority of the carries there. Don Chaney got in there a little bit later, a few carries, but I'll be curious to see. And again, just a reminder in case you guys didn't hear the news on the day of the game, but Jalen Knighton is suspended for at least 4 games to start the year. And then Cody Brown moves up into that number 3 spot, freshman from Georgia. Kind of see what they're working on. This is similar to what we've seen quite a bit in fall camp. They really want to get the ball out in the flats to different receivers, whether it's a wide receiver, running back, or even a tight end. So this is something interesting maybe to watch for. So the offense is in green uniforms, and typically what's happened in the past is we have seen the team wear those uniforms in the game based on what the offense wears during the week. So just something to think about if you're looking ahead, maybe if you're into uniform type things. It definitely looks like Miami's going to go green, but it's just a prediction or maybe just a guess from what's happened in the past here. Defense in their typical whites, and then quarterbacks are in orange right now. And one of the things that needs to happen with this play, if it's something they want to use quite a bit, is they've got to get yards after the catch, and that just wasn't happening against Alabama. And obviously, you understand Alabama's personnel, but they've got to really concentrate on their blocks. The guy that gets the ball certainly has to get upfield and make a play, and that's what they'll be looking to do more. And I don't think it's just going to be this game. I think for the rest of the season, this seems to be something that they want in the offense. Get the ball out and then upfield. Seems like a real point of emphasis for this team. And again, guys are going to have to make plays after the catch here. Low throw there. We're just wrapping up session 5. Again, we get sessions 4, 5, 6, and 7. And they usually do about 24 sessions in a practice is kind of the number. Just gives you guys an idea of how much we actually get to see. And right now, the last few practices we've been able to be at, it's mostly just drill stuff that we can see. We don't get to see a lot of the team stuff. 11 on 11, or even one-on-one type things anymore. Taking a look at the defensive line, I've heard some of your comments, and some of you guys have requested I'd like to see the defensive line a little bit more. Just showing you a few drills. They are on the completely other side of the field. This is how it is most times, so we don't get to see them up close, which is why I don't always show a lot of clips, but I'll do my best here. Kind of watching more drills with the defensive line, going 2 at a time. This is common. This is typical drill, the way things work. This is like it's done at the high school level too. Just you haven't seen many practices, but I like to go 2 at a time here and kind of see the things they're working on. I think many of you, or some of you, are curious about Leonard Taylor. Didn't appear in the opener. Curious to see how he's doing. I think from when we've been out here, he's looked really good. I just think that the coaching staff likes the veterans that they have and kind of a numbers game at this time. I'd be curious just to watch his season develop because I do think he's a guy that can make plays when he gets in there. So just taking again a look at the quarterback. Quarterback's getting the ball out, working on some out passes here for the sidelines. Not surprising to see them work on it. I do think that they have the philosophy of getting the ball out to the receivers as quickly as possible. We talked about the short passes in the flat there earlier. This is just another way, and I think you've seen some slant patterns too in practices. So all of this has to do with that. And I asked Coach Lashley about kind of that intermediate passing game because I know a lot is made of going deep and connecting on the deep ball, but I'm very curious to see how this team does. You know, that 10 to 20 yard range. Big part of that is their tight end play, but I just think that they need to be a little bit more productive there. Obviously just one game, but just something to watch for as the season moves along. So this is the final session here that we get to watch. Taking a look at striker position with Gilbert Frierson. And Amari Carter. Amari listed as a starter going into it, so not a surprise to see him get the bulk of the snaps there. Gilbert was out there quite a bit too, but I think Amari had about 20 more snaps than Gilbert, and it seems like that's what they want to go with. A little bit more physical of a player than Amari. It's Coach Ish working with him here. Go! Only a couple minutes left that we're able to watch. I just want to take a look at James Williams, number 0, and then Cameron Kitchens. Both got a lot of playing time after Bubba went out with the ejection, particularly with Cam Kitchens, 7 tackles and a forced fumble. But I think you kind of saw glimpses and flashes of what James can do and what he can bring to the team. I just think he's a guy they got to get more and more involved. on the defense, special teams, whatever it might be. I think he's a guy that can help this team this season. I was talking to somebody about this, but one of the things that stood out in the Alabama game was just, you know, when they were watching, just felt like you watch Zero and it feels like, you know, he's a guy that belongs. You know, he looks like a guy that belongs in that game physically and obviously athletically, and he's not wrong. He definitely has a lot of ability. So let's watch him do this rep again. Just about a minute left or so that we get to see, but I know many of you are still asking about James, and will James actually be able to really cement himself in a more permanent role moving forward? And Cam too. Cam certainly showed some things too. So Coach T-Rob really working on some spacing, getting these guys lined up in the proper area.
Blue 12. Blue 12. There you go. Oh shit, there's speed on you. Better get out of there.
There we go. So that's going to wrap it up. Just want to show you that one last rep. Coach T-Rob and the freshman safeties. Definitely thank everybody for watching.